Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I'm kind of excited today to bring you something that's a little bit of a throwback to the past, something kind of older. You see, the last time that I looked at a fish bot, it was the Generation Skybite, and that was a bit of a questionable figure, but I'm excited today because despite the fact that I don't have a box or instructions for this guy, nor do I have his little accessories or his kind of tail section, I'm still figuring that this was a good find. It is the Transformers Beast Wars depth charge that I got for about $4, Canadian no less, which is about $2.50 to about $2.70 American. Yes, he may be missing some things, but was he worth pocket change? Well, stick around and we're going to find out in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, it's great to see you here again. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and of course, please subscribe, join the community, have your say, check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, and me everywhere. And this is a $4 depth charge. He's a fairly substantial size toy with glorious paint. No, of course he's not perfect because I don't have the accessories, but is he still good enough? I really seem to have kind of been amassing a strange little Beast Wars collection made up of older figures and partial figures, and even a few KOs along the way. By the way, since we're on the topic of Beast Wars, just a little addendum to my reaction from Toy Fair 2018. I have since learned that when it comes to Optimal Optimus, the smaller Optimus Primal that I said looked kind of blocky and squared off for the monkey bot that we all know and love, in fact might make sense because evidently he turns into a backpack for Optimal Optimus. I don't know how I exactly feel about that. And apparently he turns into a ship. I guess it's supposed to be a pre-Beast Wars mode, so to speak. I can kind of buy it if that's the case. Is it ideal? Is it what people expected? Probably not. I've also learned that evidently the kind of land vehicle mode will not be part of Optimal Optimus. I don't know if that's confirmed. I'm more interested to see what we get there. I don't know if I'm sold on him yet, but I do think that he looks nice, and there's certainly some potential if you did not get a chance to get the original. Anyway, that's just a little side note. Let's get back to the kind of topic and focus at hand, which is this fantastic beast, this other fish bot. Is a manta ray a fish? I'm not even sure if it's a fish. I'm going to call it a fish. In fact, just for you, Nortalica, I'm going to say it's a boy fish. And if you don't get that reference, don't worry, it's a bit of an inside joke. Moving on. I babbled on a little bit too long. Let's move over to the table and take a closer look at this guy, shall we? Now, I don't care what anybody says. This thing looks glorious, even if it's incomplete. Before I get into it, I just wanted to give a few shout-outs to some new people that have kind of joined the party here. John Tarr, the Space Ram 2, Blitzbolt, Andrew Martin, Gino Games, Ninja Bill 1000, Dragonfly, Sherwin Diang, Arthas Barlow, Zeus Cloud, Minicon Longarm, and Kai's Otaku Corner. Just to name a few. I also want to give a shout out to Master Far, longtime supporter of the channel. I've heard he's taken kind of a break from the game, so to speak, here on YouTube. Hopefully, he will come back and join us sooner rather than later. Fingers crossed. And on to this guy now. This is going to be a kind of quick and easy by comparison to what I usually do here because I don't have any box. I do not have any instructions. I don't have the little Cyber Shark thing, nor do I, unfortunately, have his tail, though we do have the ball peg here for it. Naturally, it would be nice to have that, obviously, but I don't know if it's the sort of thing that was an absolute necessity. So, in this mode, he is a manta ray. Glorious, beautiful paint apps with the yellow along here and here. It probably could have used another wash there if you'd like to have it deeper, but I sort of dig the fact that it's almost kind of fuzzy, murky. It sort of matches under the ocean. The purple and the way it kind of transitions into the blue is fantastic down here. Nice and stark difference here and here. Of course, the chrome is in great shape. I do have a little scuff up there, and way back here on these little pieces, the very tips are showing a little bit of wear, but that's about it. I also have one of these things bent in. It's not a big deal, but it's the sort of thing that, you know, if I do the kind of hot-cold method, it's something I could probably fix easy enough, you know, where you heat it up, you bend it, and then you kind of flash freeze it. I talked about that a long time ago here on the channel, actually, when I took a look at Onslaught, if I'm not mistaken, from Combiner Wars, and I had like a loose thigh on the guy. I think that's when I looked at it. Not 100% sure. Anyway, the paint apps look great in this mode, in, I guess, his ship mode, and in robot mode. It is so very accurate. His paint apps, 400. That's how excellent they are. By the way, underneath here, I love this metallic green. It's fantastic. Yes, there's some bland gray, and you see more of it in robot mode. It's too bad that wasn't also maybe a silver or it had like a metallic gray finish on it, but what paint is here is done really well and so accurate to the character. So he's starting off with a pretty great score, if you ask me. Now, he kind of has a mode before we get to robot, and that's like a ship mode, basically. It looks like the ship that he arrived in on the program, on Beast Wars, but it's kind of a stretch to be a ship, I do believe. Nevertheless, I'll show it because it's sort of on the way to what we're doing for the robot mode. And this is, for not having instructions at all, this was a little bit of a learning curve. Not real hard, just the way things move is kind of so ingenious that you really had to sort of figure it out. It was like figuring out a puzzle. So, okay, so I adjusted things here because this guy gets kind of big when we do the transformation. Now he has an in-between mode, so I'm going to kind of go to that first. It's supposed to be indicative of the ship that he arrived in. I guess, you know, it's an alien ship, so I give it some leeway. It's easy to get to from here, and it's sort of on the way to our robot mode. So what we have is these two blue sections here, and it's the entire kind of wing. I guess this is a manta ray wing, and they're held in with tabs up right here and right here. So you basically come here and untab it and untab it. Easy. Then we rotate them out and rotate them out. And when we rotate them out, we have a purple armature in here, kind of on an L. We begin to straighten these out. There's a gray hinge in here. You straighten out the gray hinge. Do the same over here. Straighten out the gray hinge and the purple hinge. What you have is, I'll turn this one so I can show it here, or try to show it here. What you have is a gray hinge in here and a purple hinge out here. You straighten both of those out. Then the very outer edge of this purple section is like a cylinder, and it's attached to this blue piece here that has gold detailing on it. That is a ratchet, and you can rotate the actual wing fin on that ratchet. So it comes all the way up around and looks like that. And in the end, boom, here is your ship mode. Now there's a blue little fin back here. You can press that, it's a gimmick, and when you're supposed to have, I think it's 7 yellow discs that launch from, you know, the mouth here, which becomes the chest in robot mode. I don't have those discs. I don't really care because I'm not much of a gimmick guy, but they're supposed to be there. Still, this, you know, here's your ship mode, if you dig it. I don't know if I do. Alright, so on to the robot mode. Well, we straighten the legs out. They're on, we have a double knee here, and there's a little tab on the chrome that goes into a little rectangular slot up right here on the body. It's okay, it's all right. We bring this one out, we do the same thing. It doesn't really tab down there super securely, it kind of just holds it in place, but honestly the friction of these two knee joints is so fantastic that it's not going anywhere anyway, at least not on mine. Now, this is when things begin to get a little bit interesting. And I don't even know if I can get this, maybe I can get this out of the way. There you go, back like that. What we have is this whole armature here. There's a screw here, here, and here. It's on both sides, and you need to, once you have the legs disengaged from the side, you need to pick this up. So we have a blue hip section in here. We bring it out. We have a tab, a circular tab there that goes to a slot on the main body. And on this side, if I can again get this out of the way, we have a slot on the body, or a tab on the body, and the slot is in the hip section. So we open out the two hip sections, no problem. Then we got to kind of bring this entire great armature up. When we bring it up, it's going to take this chrome section forward and down around. So we begin to push that up. It's a pretty snug fit. And it comes down around like this. When you bring it down and around, you're probably going to notice that the hinges are still kind of up at this angle. You need to rotate the hinges all the way down. And there's a reason for that. So you rotate the hinge all the way down. You need it down out of the way of this whole body section, because now we want to rotate the whole thing around. And once we rotate the whole thing around, we will bring the hip sections together, and they tab into one another. And when we do that, what we end up with is a little blue rectangular tab here that goes up into a little rectangular slot on the lower body. And how do we bring it up there? Well, we have these hinges on the side. We just collapse it. Bring it together, collapse it, and of course it tabs in. This is kind of what we have now. We straighten out the feet, so we open the toes and the heel, and we open the toes and the heel. And we have the lower body now done. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm going to just readjust things a little bit for dealing with the arms next. So with the lower body done, we can move on to the arms. But before we do that, it's probably easiest to sort of get these fin pieces out of the way. So I'm just going to straighten this one up again. This is about as out of the way as these fin pieces can get. When it comes to the arms, we turn the whole guy around so we can see better from the back. You take the arms and you straighten them down. And when you do so, you're probably going to notice that this blue section here is the shoulder, and it's attached to this gray armature. We swing that whole section out. And when we bring it forward, we have a little gray tab here that goes into a slot on the body up right here. And it tabs in very securely. Same on the other side over here. And we're almost done. Next, we don't have hands down here yet. So you open up these lower sections of the arms. And there's a couple of tabs there that you can put your fingernails on to do it. There's a screw inside. You pull the whole kind of hand section out on that, rotate it, close it up, and even the hands on the guy are chromed. And even that chrome, all these years later, has really lasted. Whoever had this really took great care of it, and I applaud them for that. So there you go. Hands out. Looks good. Okay, next. We bring the head forward, straighten it up, and that looks pretty fantastic. Then all we really have left is the kind of fin sections. Okay, so what do we do here? It's not hard, but you gotta know how to handle this. So what we have is a gray hinge, a purple hinge, and then a rotating disc. And what you want to do is bend down the gray hinge, bend up the purple hinge, and rotate the disc so that it comes in behind the body like that. You want to, again, over here, Rotate the disc so that the yellow is facing to the back. Bend the gray hinge down. Bend the purple hinge up. Rotate it in and sort of angle it just a little bit. Now, if you're wondering what that looks like, because it's a weird set of movements, here it is from the back. You have this armature coming out. You have this gray hinge here that's bent down. You rotate it because there's like almost like a bicep swivel there. Then you bend the purple hinge forward, and then you turn the circular disc at the front in the right orientation. And you should have those in behind him and the yellow here. There's other ways to kind of do it, but this is, I think, official. If I'm wrong, somebody can point that out to me. And he looks fantastic. Again, it looks like he jumped off the screen to me. Now, you'll notice I'm holding him because by rights there should be one other piece of transformation. He should have a tail here on this ball joint that comes down, kind of acts as a third leg to give him stability. I don't have that, and when I let him go, that happens. So is there a way to handle that? Well, yes. Yes, there is. I find that if you take the kind of manta ray wings and bend them forward a little bit around his body, and you angle him forward a little bit, and put the heel spur down, he'll stand just fine. No problem. A lot of people say he can't stand without that kind of third tail leg. Yes, he can. I'm doing it right here. It's fine. Yeah, he looks glorious. He really does. So, paint was $400. Transformation, it's not hard. The armatures here that these big sections on is a little bit fiddly. I'm going to say it's a strong... By the way, they feel very solid, like you're not breaking anything there. This was built at a different time, folks. And the plastic quality is great. I'm going to say that the transformation overall is a 9. It's pretty good. You just got to kind of get used to it a little bit. Articulation. You wouldn't think it'd be very good for this guy, would you? With all of this kind of junk hanging off him. But we have the head that goes left and right. I guess it can look up and down, but you're kind of breaking the sculpt here. Getting these out of the way. We do have, you know, these tips that can move. These tips can move. We have these that can move. We have another hinge in here, so you can move these all around. You can angle them however you kind of like. So they're versatile. The arms can go, by rights they can go all the way around. We have out to the side that far, which is pretty good. We have a bicep swivel. We have a nice deep elbow, nothing at the wrist, at least a 90-degree elbow. The waist, that can freely rotate, no problem. In terms of his legs, he can kick forward just fine. If you get his back skirt out of the way, because that's on a hinge, he can go way back just fine. There doesn't seem to be a thigh swivel. There's a little bit of give on the ball joint for the hip, so it kind of gives you a little bit of a thigh swivel. We have a double jointed knee that by rights can bend very deep. Maybe get this out of the way. It can bend very deep. We have the toes that can tilt, the heels that can tilt, no side to side. It's pretty excellent articulation, to be perfectly honest with you. I dig it. I dig it. I'm going to give, especially since I didn't really think he was going to be very well articulated at all. I'm really extremely pleasantly surprised, and this guy has articulation that I think is, especially for the time, it's a good 9. It's great, and everything feels very secure on him, yet smooth. The ratchets work like ratchets should. The friction joints work like friction joints should. How big does this guy actually get? Well, here he is next to the Transformers Power of the Primes Grimlock. So he's like a big hefty Voyager. You know, he's even a bit bigger than that. Here he is also next to the Transformer Power of the Primes Evolution Leader Class Optimus Prime. Granted, Optimus is a little out of screen there, but you can see he's not as big as that. So the guy is basically a hefty Voyager class figure. And here he is with my little Beast Wars oddity collection that I have. I mentioned earlier that it's kind of a weird mix of a few things. So we have the KO of Air Razor, who I looked at back in episode 319. The KO of Lio Jr., who I looked at in episode 318. My custom Ultra Optimus Primal from Beast Wars in episode 287. Good old Rhinox in episode 192. He looks great, but man, oh man. And Rat Trap, who I looked at in episode 189 a long time ago. By the way, the Evolution Optimus I looked at in episode 347, and Grimlock in episode 345. Now, sure, I don't have the little Cyber Shark thing, but if I wanted Cyber Shark, I would just get that figure. And granted, he doesn't have the chest discs, and he lacks a tail, which I would love to get at some point. But at the end of the day, for $4, come on! How is this guy not an absolute win? The paint apps are $400. The articulation is a solid 9. The transformation is a solid 9. The guy is pretty much the perfect depth charge. And while I don't know if I would specifically hunt him down as a major enough character for my personal taste, getting him under the circumstances that I did makes me smile a very big smile. And alas, here we are again. And now we have him in robot mode. Yes, okay, I'm missing the little Cyber Shark blaster accessory. And it would be great to have his tail section here to act as the, what most people call requisite third leg, so that he can actually kind of stand up. But if you put the wing pieces forward just a little bit, he does it well, as you saw earlier. Was he worth $4 Canadian? Especially with the chrome still looking as fantastic as it does, with the joints being as tight and functional as they are, yet smooth at the same time. This came out during an era where, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of these designs and products came from Kenner. I sort of mentioned that a little while ago when we talked about the kind of entire Beast Wars series during my latest odds and ends video. I like the guy. I'm glad to add him to my collection. I think he was totally worth it. Let me know what you think about this guy. You know I always love to hear from you. Again, I'm going to say, please, take a second, hit that subscribe button, show a bit of support, join the community here. I'm going to say thank you as well for giving me some of your very valuable time, because I do know how important it is to you. And I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.